Hello, friends and family. I am back again with Ambassador of Change. It's me, your host, Pearl Coupe, and I'm excited again about our topic today. This is the program we know is dealing with salt, being light. As sons of God, we are encouraged to go out there and influence whatever area we're in, whatever sphere we're in. And we are excited to deal with different topics. We deal with topics on medicine, on law, on business. Entrepreneurship is the one that we are going to be dealing with today. And with me today is the lovely Miss Shoni Sai. We call her Shoni Munyai. Welcome to the program, Shoni.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Pearl. It's an honor to be here, and greetings to the viewers at home.
Welcome, welcome. So today we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, and it's something that's really very well needed. You know, when I was looking at and reading the statistics recently in South Africa, they show that South Africa, we have a 33% unemployment rate. And for the rest of Africa, they say it's about 7%. So if ever there was a case for entrepreneurship, it is now, because clearly the governments are not able to provide all the jobs that are needed. And entrepreneurship allows for people to start their own businesses and still be able to feed their families at home, even whilst they're unemployed. So there's a definite case for building entrepreneurs, not only in South Africa, but beyond in Africa generally. Now, you are the president for South Africa. The Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs is a project I'm privileged to be involved in, that we had the privilege of starting, and you are the South Africa president for Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs. Can you just share with us your experience? How has it been so far?
Well, it's been absolutely wonderful, Dr. Pearl, because, you know, like you said, the statistics here in South Africa, with joblessness and all of that, it gives one an opportunity to really look at the gaps in the market. What do people need?
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm just thinking of the story of the widow woman.
Yeah.
You know, when the debtors came to come and get her children.
Yeah.
So the prophet then said, "What is in your house?"
Yeah.
And oftentimes, you know, we really miss what's in our house or what's in your hand.
Yeah.
And actually find opportunities in order for you to be able to create work for yourself.
Yeah. And you know, what's interesting about that story, 2 Kings 4 story, is that, as you said, the woman was very much in debt. And not only is there a case for entrepreneurship in Africa, in South Africa, but especially insofar as it relates to women. I'm glad that you spoke about that incident, because it actually deals with women. Now, we were recently in Botswana. In December, we launched the Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs chapter in Botswana. And I found out during that time that Botswana women, 47.5% of households are led by women, are led by women. So that already gives us a case for entrepreneurship. And not too long ago, I think it was in 2020, President Cyril Ramaphosa announced that that the issue of women and gender-based violence, part of the problem was that women stayed in relationships
Absolutely.
that they didn't need to stay in simply for financial reasons. And one of the solutions, he said, must come about is that women must be given opportunities to enter into entrepreneurship so that they're not staying in abusive relationships. South Africa is in the top 5 nations in the whole world where the women are abused, raped, top worst 5 nations. And so entrepreneurship is actually an answer also to helping women out of abusive relationships.
Absolutely. I mean, part of what we do, we really are encouraging women, kingdom women, in the area of business. And, you know, gender-based violence, we've actually got one of our projects. It's a GBV project where we support these women. and just encourage them to create something for themselves, and really try to get out of these abusive relationships. I mean, we recently launched a chapter, so we've got different chapters within nationally and actually even globally. Recently we were in the city of Mangaung,
Yes.
Bloemfontein,
Yeah.
and we do a lot of outreaches as well. So we encourage the giving back, businesswomen to give back into communities and that sort of thing. So, while we were there, before we actually did the whole glamorous launch in the evening, it was such a humbling experience to actually go out into the underprivileged communities. And on the way there, we met women that were on the street, that were working on the street. And, they were so touched that we had an interest in them, and we actually wanted to give them ideas on how they can actually get off that kind of work, working on the street. So it was actually, we're always finding gaps and trying to see where we can actually encourage women in that area of business, and to actually be involved in more key sectors. Because as you know, women are the backbone of society.
Yeah, yeah.
When you begin to empower one woman, you know that you're going to empower the entire nation, the entire community.
Yeah, no, in Setswana actually they say mosadi ke thari ya setšhaba, which says exactly what you're saying, that the woman is the backbone of the society, of the nation. And, any nation, we always say in Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs, any nation that really wants to do well must empower its women economically, socially, politically. And so it's very, very important. Yeah, tell us a little bit more about the work that is done in Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs, some of the chapters that have been launched in the nations, and some of the work that it does.
Yes, okay. So we focus on training, equipping women, and giving actually kingdom blueprints on how to do business. So, we know we've got a biblical mandate to do business until he comes. Occupy until he comes. So, it's about really just letting women know that, you ought to be a good steward over what you've been given, and actually using your gifts and talents in order to create work for yourself, because there's honestly no excuse. God has really given us a lot. He's deposited a lot. And, as women, we carry the codes of multiplication, of creativity.
Can you mention some of the chapters that we've been working in, that we've launched not only in Botswana, but other nations as well?
Yes, absolutely. So we were in June last year, we went to Kenya. We launched in Kenya. We've got a chapter in Malawi, which is quite busy. We've got projects there where we teach widows skills, bought them sewing machines and encourage them to actually be able to have those skills. We also have projects like take a child to school in Malawi. So we take children to school in Malawi. We've got a chapter in Mpumalanga.
Yeah, and by taking them to school in terms of paying their school fees.
That's correct.
Yes, yeah, and just making sure that more children have access to education.
That's correct. That's what we do. So we've got locally, we've got Eastern Cape as well, a chapter in Eastern Cape and a chapter in Mpumalanga. Yes, where we actually partnered with the mayor, when we launched. So she was also quite happy to come and support us.
Yes, and I remember the Bloemfontein, we were blessed actually to have one of the royal family. In fact, the first female king in South Africa who actually, who actually had to go to court to make sure that she got her kingship there. And that was a blessing to have her involved in there. Can you just share with us maybe any other projects you have? I know you mentioned the gender-based violence project. I know there's anti-trafficking project, and any other projects that are there feeding the children, taking them to school, back to school projects, and I know there's a project that deals with the female girl child in
Yes.
particular. Yeah, maybe share a little bit on that
The
as well.
menstrual cup.
Yeah.
So we distribute menstrual cups to young girls. We partner with schools.
Yeah.
Yes, we partner with communities. So, yeah, we basically, instead of the sanitary towels, we have the menstrual cup, which is more, it's actually designed by a woman.
Yeah.
The menstrual cup. So it's made of silicone, and we basically just teach them also how to use it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so how does Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs, how does it operate? How does it, go out there and make an influence in the community?
So we do that through networking events.
Yeah.
We've got those networking events where we also give people access to markets. We've got the coaching and mentoring aspect, and of course we've got a corporate governance structure that actually helps us to be regulated. So we've got a board that actually helps us with policies, gives legal advice, and for regulatory purposes.
Well, any more thoughts? Let's talk about Africa right now, because when we look at Africa, Africa is in many instances one of the fastest developing continents and has some of the greatest resources actually in Africa. Is Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs, what is its plan in terms of making a difference in Africa?
Yes, I think it really should start with the mindset of Africa. Because, it's normally Africa is depicted to be the one that's always asking for help. And yet, we've got so many of our own natural resources that we have here in Africa, which we are overlooking. So we really, in this season, want to transition Africa from being that begging bowl to being the bread basket.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all eyes are on Africa right now to give solutions and take ownership, really, of what they've been given.
Now you've got, I know that within the portfolios, we developed portfolios for Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs, and everybody has their own particular area of focus and expertise. And one of the portfolios that we have in Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs is the portfolio for youth.
Yes.
For youth. Talk to us maybe a little bit about why it's important for the youth to be involved in entrepreneurship.
Yes, definitely. We've got to really train them while they're still young, so that they don't really have to, in this day and age, there's so much that you can become, without really just looking at going to school and getting a degree. We've got to really diversify. I'll make an example with myself. My working experience actually includes 10 years of working in the pharmaceutical industry. And yet my first year out of high school, I studied PR and media. So, you can't be so limited to doing one thing.
Yeah.
That we've got to explore our gifts. I've got a love and a passion for beauty and for handling events, because I'm a person that likes to pay attention to detail. So we've really got to just explore that and, give the information so that people can actually find more expression within themselves without actually just looking for a 9-to-5.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we teach actually in Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs is the aspect of gifts. Because entrepreneurship really should be around teaching people to identify their gifts, their talents, their abilities, and then seeing how to build on those. And eventually you will actually make money from that. So your gift, your purpose are always connected, and the money will come from being connected to your gift. So talk to us about some of the events that you've had, we've had in Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs, the conferences, and some of the events and meetings that we've had.
Yes, so in South Africa, we actually recently relaunched in August last year, and we've had international guests. Dr. Keenan Bridges was here, and we do a lot of webinars, training. We've had the legal aspect. We've had webinars around that. Yes.
And any other programs that you've had in other nations? Any events that have?
Yes, so Kenya has been one of them. We actually introduced Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs.
Yes, I remember Reverend Kiula was a speaker there, and Reverend Kiula is one of really the leading entrepreneurs in Kenya with huge business and a very great marketplace grace, and I believe we will be bringing him to South Africa in I believe in 2025. We hope so. We've already spoken to him. We just have to finalize the date. So we're looking forward to that, yeah. So what is your message really to women out there who may find themselves struggling financially, may find themselves, you know, not having the finances that are needed to take care of their children, especially looking at single women? You may be a single woman out there who finds yourself trapped and you don't know how to go about providing for those children that you are having to raise up by yourself. What is your message to that? How would you encourage them?
So, you know, for women that are stuck in abusive relationships, you really don't have to remain there. There is always a way out. And, you know, we as GFWE are also giving support to such women and, you know, giving you the principles, giving you access to things that you can do, you know, to those markets that you can begin to engage into. So, you know, you have to just find the strength to arise and find where you fit into society. Yes.
Oh, that's great. I know recently one of the executive members for the South Africa GFWE, Buhle, had an event recently.
Yes.
She's holding the portfolio for business, and she had an event. Tell us about the event. I think you were at the event. And what is the potential that can come out of that event?
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mean, women are highlighted in this time in any country, really. So it was more of a networking session and, you know, just giving opportunities for you to introduce yourself and what you're about. And, you know, it was a wonderful, it was about partnership between the EAU and South Africa. So we made really great contacts.
With the UAE?
Yes, with the UAE. And we are planning to actually develop those relationships. And we've been invited to come through probably in October. By October next year, there would be some opportunities and connections. So, you know, relationships in business are really a good key. And even for me, I think, you know, coming from a corporate background and also trying to launch myself as an entrepreneur, I've found that a lot of the people that actually support my business are people that I've met before while I was working. So relationships in business are really important. You've got to really nurture them. Yeah, because you don't know. People are doors.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs actually tries to do, isn't it, in terms of developing relationships. Talk to us about the directory that Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs is actually in the process of putting together, and some of the other opportunities that Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs would present.
Yes, so we are developing that directory. So it's based on all the members that we have as GFWE. So we would have all their information regarding what it is that they do. And, you know, it's oftentimes that it's really awesome to actually be able to use someone's business that you know. So we give women that opportunity to just exchange and trade with one another. Yeah, in that space. So we'd be able to pick up if somebody does events, we can use an in-house person to do that, which is always a great opportunity. Yes.
Yeah. Well, in Setswana, they say "Kgomo di boela sakeng," which means the cows come back to the original kraal. And that is one way that one can move forward. If you are a woman entrepreneur out there, you're trying to make it in business, you don't have contacts, we do encourage you to reach out to Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs, which is, as has been said, there's one in Malawi under Pastor Nazreen, there's one in Botswana under Mrs. Tunyafanyi. South Africa, here we have Shoni. In Kenya, we have Pastor Flavia, and other places as well in different nations. So do reach out there and make sure that you have a contact. It's a place where you can get educated, you can get trained. Even if you haven't started an entrepreneurship, it's a place where you can actually learn about entrepreneurship, about technology, about how to use certain information. You will learn about legal aspects around how you can use the legislation to benefit you. You will learn about how to start a budget and how to plan for making a business. So those are all available. And we want to encourage you to join Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs. And we want to encourage you to also have an entrepreneurial mindset. In our last few minutes, Shoni, maybe just share whatever is on your hearts. The last 2 or 3 minutes, share, and let's invite the people of Africa in this very important prophetic timeline for Africa to really start to think entrepreneurship. It's not just about looking for a job. So many people go out there, they're looking for jobs from university. But let's have a different mindset and let's create a different narrative for Africa to say, I'm not just going to look for a job, I'm going to create jobs. I'm going to be that one who will have a business and I will create jobs. Any last few words that can serve as an encouragement to the youth out there, to the women in particular? South Africa has the youngest, Africa has the youngest population in the whole world. I think it's 60% of the over 1 billion people in Africa are actually young people. So let's address young people, women out there, encourage them to get into the field of entrepreneurship.
I would really like to encourage people to get into entrepreneurship. You know, in South Africa, we've got actually a ministry of SMMEs. So there are a lot of opportunities that are available for young people, for women. For example, I am also part of a beauty council, and where people actually don't know some of the opportunities that are there, that are available. So you've got to actually align yourself with structures that can give you access to these opportunities. And definitely GFW is definitely one such an organization. In fact, there is a lady that we gave access in terms of from the manufacturing space, and they were given an opportunity to actually connect and do trade with Turkey in terms of leather, shoes, because those are quite big in Turkey. So you've got to align yourself with organizations that are going to support you and assist you, and look into government, because there's a lot of money in there for women.
Government and African Development Bank, so many organizations that are actually out there willing to help women with start off seed and capital, etc. And one of the very big advantages, as we close off in the last couple of minutes talking about this, one of the very great advantages that you can have by connecting to organizations such as Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs is that they harness the power of unity. And so the organization can go and negotiate better deals, better interest rates for you at banks, for instance. Harnessing the power of unity can begin to arrange trade deals, investment deals, because when you go as an individual, there are limited things that you can access. But when we come together as a unified group of people, we get bigger opportunities. The Bible talks to us about unity and the power of unity. That's where God says that he releases the blessing in Psalm 133. So we want to encourage you to join forces, to become entrepreneurial minded so that we can change the narrative of Africa, to become that person who will not only just look for a job, but will become somebody who can provide jobs. And Africa will begin to grow, and entrepreneurs will begin to rise up. Young entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs. So be encouraged to join hands with GFWE as we network, as we connect, as we teach, as we train, we equip, we activate you to do better, to be more financially secure, and so that we can be a healthier society overall. Last couple of words, Shoni, if people want to join GFWE, what are the contact details? Who do they reach out to? What are the email addresses? What is the website address? Let us have that information.
Yes, so we do have a presence on social media, Instagram, it's GFWE, and then also Facebook.
Yeah.
We've got Global Forum for Women Entrepreneurs, and we've also got a website, so gfwe.africa.
Yeah, and the local one, gfwe.co.za is the one that will actually take you there, and the email address is the one that she's just mentioned. So be encouraged to reach out to us, website, Facebook page. Let's change the narrative, and let us not just wait for the jobs to come up, but let us go out there and be an entrepreneurs and be those who can actually provide jobs. God richly bless you. We're signing out on this episode of Ambassador for Change.